So having retired the Saucony Endorphin ELITE just after 100 miles from racing, I've managed to log a load more in training, which has taken it up and over the 200 mark. The midsole might be as flat as a pancake and visually it might look in pieces, but how is it holding up? Well, that is what we're going to be answering today. This is my Saucony Endorphin ELITE review after 200 miles. So welcome back to another long-term shoe review. 200 miles in the Saucony Endorphin ELITE and very excited for this one. And the reason is I've always wanted to test the durability in it. If anyone said to me, Andy, if you could have one super shoe once again from brand new, whether the Vaporfly 1, the Endorphin ELITE, this new Puma that you're loving, which one would you choose? And I've got to say it would be this one. The fit is outstanding. The midsole was sublime. The rocker was perfect. Everything about this shoe worked for me. I retired it after 100 miles from racing because the midsole did start to go flat. To be fair, probably the first midsole I really noticed to go flat so quickly in a super shoe, but I've logged a load more training miles, and so today, as with all long-term shoe reviews, we'll be going through the wear and tear, how I've been using it, and then will I continue to use it moving forwards. So let's get straight into the wear and tear, because this is the interesting bit. So from an upper perspective, everything is absolutely fine. There are no snags, no frays, no tears. This is definitely one of the more unique uppers that I'd seen in a super shoe. If we look down the front here, you will see there are some very interesting design layouts with the shoe. In particular, this cutout here and this cutout here, where we have a band that runs over the top and there, which locks in over the top of the foot, which you can also see runs underneath here in between the midsole foam and the carbon plate. Very interesting, never seen anything like that before when I got this shoe, but overall I've got to say, even though it looks a bit quirky, it worked really well for me. The midsole though is where things really look chewed up. If you look from the side on, it doesn't look too bad at all. As you see, as we pan around this side here, there is a fair bit of creasing here, but again, nothing too much. That's just a little bit of compression. I will say in terms of how it feels, as I said, the midsole went really flat. What you noticed with running shoes when they do start to go flat is when you run in them initially and they feel really good, you notice that wonderful kind of land pop spring, especially in this shoe. It not only was a very aggressive roll through, but the foam and the plate combination felt so snappy. That completely died on me at the Frampton 10K last year. I was really gutted actually. I thought it was just, I wasn't having a good race. I'll test it out in another one. So I actually ended up testing it out in training, to be fair, just in case I did rock up to another race and it was just bad. And it was terrible. It was really bad. It lost all of it. But what you have to remember is there's still a thick wad of foam here that does give you the protection that you need, especially when you're out there logging training miles. So I knew that I could still keep using it. It just lost all pop. But if we turn our attention to the outsole, this is where things get interesting. So from a rubber coverage perspective, this is still really good. We're starting to see the minutest little bit of ripping just up there, but that is it. I will say the grip on this is really good, and I will also say I've recorded an extra channel video which will be going out later today. So if you hop over to the extra channel after this, around 12 o'clock I've scheduled a video to go out. That was the workout in this shoe that took it over 200 miles. I actually mentioned the grip issue in there. This forefoot here is absolutely fine. This is still really tacky. One of the best grips I've tried. That alongside the Adidas Continental grip, I've got to say those two are brilliant, and of course Puma grip as well, we all know does really well. This is still really tacky, so very impressed. But of course, as we make our way down here, this exposed midsole, this is possibly some of the most chewed up midsole that I have ever seen on any shoe. A Hoka springs to mind from years ago, and you might see the exposed midsole shed like snakeskin, but this one has really chewed up. It's taken a fair few layers off there. The grip again here is all right, but what I noticed, and I do have to say this, when I was running, especially on my cool down, and I was landing on the midfoot, it was absolutely fine. But as I was going downhill, getting a bit lazy, sitting back and heel striking a little bit, I was noticing the grip on the heel where all of this is chewed off. It was a little bit slick and slippery, especially if I was landing on the inside. I'd notice that I'd land and it would just kind of like shift a millimeter or two just to kind of warn me and say there's nothing on here, it's a little bit slick. It was a very interesting sensation. I just wanted to highlight that for any heel strikers out there that use this shoe. You can see how much it's chewed up there. It really does eat away at this exposed midsole. So other than that, the fact that it is a little bit slick down this side here, the rest of the shoe in terms of the grip on the outsole is decent. It's still holding up really well. That is definitely not the issue here, unless you're a heel striker, then it will be. And that is it for the wear and tear. So how have I been using this shoe since I retired it from racing? So if I remember rightly, it was Frampton 10K and it was around 120-ish miles. So I've logged about another 80 in it since, and as I said, it's still going relatively strong. Pretty happy with it. How I've been using it is on the longer workouts. During my Alicante half marathon training block, I was doing some of those longer long run workouts, maybe some over-unders or some longer interval workouts out on the concrete where I just wanted something a little bit faster, a little bit nippier, a little bit snappier, albeit I wasn't going to get the softness and the cushion that I was expecting from this shoe because we know that that is null and void now. But I still found in this shoe, it still works for me. I still roll through really nicely. I still feel like it's nice and snappy when I'm rolling through the gait cycle. But to be honest with you, it just doesn't offer a lot of bounce anymore. That is what is lacking in this shoe, but it does enough of a job to get me through those longer workouts. So I was actually putting it up against the Alphafly 3. Those are two shoes that I really wanted to kind of push it to their limits. But again, even though I found the midsole on this one has gone flat and the Alphafly 3 was still really good, I just prefer running in this shoe. So I ended up picking this one up a little bit more, maybe once a week, once every other week. And then during this training block now, I picked it up twice, which is my 5K training block. Last week when I was doing the workout where I started in the Evo SL for some more controlled reps and then put this one on for the faster K reps, was really impressed that I was able to push the pace on those and get down to quicker than my goal 5K pace. Very, very impressed indeed. It's still got that snappiness about it. As I said, it just lacks the bounce, but everything else is still there in the shoe. And then this weekend just gone, I took it out for a 15-mile long run workout. Again, it just excelled really well. I had 30 minutes moderate and then I rolled into a tempo sandwich, as I like to call it. So 10 minutes tempo, 2 minutes easy jog recovery. Then I had 5 by 2 minutes on, 90 seconds off. And for those 2 minutes, I was able to squeeze the pace down to 5:10, 5:09 per mile on one of those reps. Most of them were around the 5 teens, so that was really good. And then I spun back around the other way and did another 10-minute tempo before jogging a 30-minute moderate home. And again, it just worked really well. I've always found this shoe to work so well for me, and even out there, it was brilliant. And I think what the trails did when I was out on that one is it negated the fact that there wasn't a lot of bounce in there by the fact that it was a softer surface, so it did kind of feel like it had a little bit of life in there. Trust me, when I was out there on the concrete last week doing those fast K reps quicker than 5K pace, I noticed the lack of bounce, but it definitely did all right out there on the trails. And that's the workout that you guys can see over on the extra channel. So that's how I've been using it. So the question is, will I continue to use it moving forwards? Yes, I will. I think I will keep using it in training. It's still got some good life in it. I'm still relatively happy. It still works well for me, despite the lack of bounce and what it originally had, that original magic that has disappeared. Everything else in the shoe is still set up really nicely. As I said, the upper is still my favorite upper. It still hugs the foot so well. Absolutely no issues there whatsoever. I love the aggression in this shoe. I still want to keep an eye out for these when they come on discount. I know the version 2 is out there now. I'm really surprised we haven't seen any bigger discounts on the version 1 yet. I'm hoping they'll come at some point because I don't want to pay full price for one right now. But if they do, as I said, this one will be top of my hit list. Very, very impressed. And yet it's still showing no signs of giving up completely just yet. So how does it stack up in terms of durability and super shoes over 100 miles? Well, I've only taken 4 super shoes over the 100-mile mark. That is the Adios Pro 3. And I'll be honest with you, this one doesn't come close to the durability of the Adios Pro 3. That one absolutely wins, hands down, by a country mile. I got that one to 500 miles and that was exceptional. As we all know, Lightstrike Pro just breaks in and keeps going and going and going. And honestly, at 500 miles, it still had some good life left in it. I just snapped a couple of carbon rods in it and it got to the point where I thought I really should end this block and retire these shoes now. So they are definitely crowned the #1 for durability. The Vaporfly version 1 and 2, I've both got a pair of those over 200 miles. And what I'll say with the Vaporfly is I think the midsole lasts a little bit longer. But what I found with the Vaporfly is the grip absolutely disappears after around 150, 200 miles. And so what a lot of people do is they end up putting shoe goo on it. If you've ever heard of that, it's kind of like a gooey paste that you can put on the bottom of the shoe just to give it a little bit of tackiness. For me, I've never done that, but I have always found it to become really slick. I remember doing a workout in a pair of Vaporfly version 1s where I was down on the concrete and I was just doing U-turns to start another rep and I was feeling like my feet sliding out from underneath me. So I can say the grip in this is far better than how the Vaporflies go after that. But I will say the Vaporfly seem to retain their bounce. ZoomX definitely does a good job at lasting longer. So again, it's pros and cons with that one, but I think if I'm honest with you, I feel like I could run in this one for longer than the Vaporfly just because the grip is better. So I'm very happy with that so far. And the other one is the On Cloud Boom Echo 3. I haven't got that one to 200 miles. I got that one over the 100 mile mark because that one was marketed that you could get 4 good marathons out of it. So of course that totals just over 100 miles. And again, I found that shoe to be holding up really well, but of course I didn't take it to 200, so I can't really compare that one. But again, that was holding well up after 100 miles. Whether it had got to 200, who knows? I'm not 100% sure. So I think, to be fair, between this and the Vaporfly, I definitely choose this one. I'll be honest with you, I feel like this one, just because of the fact that everything else in the shoe still feels really good. I still feel controlled in the shoe. The grip is still really good. Everything about it from that perspective ticks all the boxes, whereas the Vaporfly, I just feel like I'm slip sliding everywhere. Maybe on grippier surfaces, maybe you could use older ones on a track, that would be okay. I didn't find them too bad to be out on some of those buffed out fire track trails, but when you're out on the concrete, which is where these shoes really should be used, I found this one to be a little bit better. There we go, those are my thoughts on the Saucony Endorphin Elite after 200 miles. What a shoe, it's still going really well. Despite its lack of bounce these days, it's still holding up strong, and I feel like, as I said, I can get a fair few more miles in it. We'll see how we go with it. If you're interested in seeing any more long-term reviews, guys, do check out this video up here. This is the Adios Pro 3, as I mentioned earlier, after 500 miles. Check that one out. That is an absolute beast. And if you're interested in seeing how the Evo SL, my new addition to the rotation, is doing after 100 miles, check out this video down here. Don't forget to head over to the extra channel at some point to check out the workout in those Endorphin Elites, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.